how things are going on the game, thinking behind the scenes. So let me introduce everybody to you here. To my left is Taylor Brodsky. Animation lead. Next to him is Amy Hennig. She's the creative director. Next to her is Nolan North. I think you probably know. Why am I even introducing these guys? Emily Rose. And Richard McGonigal. Now, as for the actors, these aren't just voice actors. They're actors in Uncharted 3. We're going to give you a little idea about what they do and how they're helping create the game. Amy, tell us a little bit about what we're going to get to see here, for the first time on video.
We want to give you guys a little sneak peek into what we've been working on. Give you an exclusive look that nobody's seen before. There's a snippet of this cinematic scene that we have shown in the trailer. And so we're going to show you about it. And we tried to make sure we cut all the parts that were especially spoilers. But it's a scene with three of them, and I think what it demonstrates is kind of what we want to talk about today, which is our process and how it's different from what a lot of other developers do. And a lot of the passages where I'm talking about principles is that it's all about collaboration. Collaboration with Naughty Dog, within Naughty Dog. We kind of check our ecosystem door and everybody contributes to the project and a lot of ownership. It's the same thing with the actors. We work together for like a year about every week except for people that go out and move to Nova Scotia. And actually, incidentally, so they come to Nova Scotia this morning just for this. But the way we look at it, and we worked together for 5 years now, because they were cast in the fall of 2006. Or actually summer 2006. And how it's pretty much like looking at a teaser together, and how the characters evolve, and how I think what I wanted to demonstrate with the scene that we can depict it not only on just them, but also because it demonstrates, I think, how we're trying to, well, we're still pushing forward the action. Video game, of course, we know that. It's still a character-driven story, and I think that that's where all the affection for the characters and the franchise comes from, is the fact that we're trying to tell a story that's fundamentally about the characters and about their interactions, and I think this scene demonstrates that. So we just want to kick it off?
Let's dim the lights and show it.
All right.
Lights, please.
Might want to more than dim the lights.
More
How about
lights?
all the way off?
Let's make it
More.
Kill him.
That was good. Almost.
Almost.
Not quite dark. Yeah, there you go.
Dark.
Sully, don't touch.
I didn't know that was you.
All right, just tell me what you're really looking for.
This? Come here. Sully, check this out.
I think we lost him. What do you got?
It looks like we stumbled right into our secret entrance.
Well, that's our girl. Well, not going down there without some hardware.
Go talk to that rug merchant we just passed.
Well, guns, weapons.
He's not really a rug merchant.
Oh, right.
Hey, just watch yourself out there, okay?
Yeah.
All right, what is all this
Seriously,
crap
Nate,
you're
why
giving
don't you
me
just
about
come
Sully?
play with me? Those guys are not here for historical research, and neither are you. This is about that Marlowe woman, isn't it?
Yes, but look at this. I finally got it. And it's just like I said. That led to this. And this led us here.
To a hole in the ground.
Well, it's a glamorous life. Come on, admit it. You love all this as much as I do.
No, I'm not anymore.
actually,
That looks pretty good up on the big
it's actually
screen,
their
doesn't it?
first time seeing it as well, because, so obviously this is still work in progress. As you guys know, when you come to something like this, you're getting to kind of see a peek behind the scenes, and which we'll show you even more of in a minute. And then we're going to shame them and show them in their, as Emily calls it, their ball suits. There's even a pool noodle in there, I think, somewhere. Two of them. Yes. But I think what that demonstrates for me is that so much of what we do is about it's kind of nuance and humor and about what's going on with the characters, and you're not going to get that working with an actor alone in the booth, recording their lines in isolation. And it's just common sense, and it's something that I'm so glad that our industry is finally sort of coming around to realizing that, you know, acting is reacting, and it's about getting them together and playing the scene and getting to know their characters and getting to own their characters. And the reason the characters are the way they are is because they've inhabited them. And then because I've worked with them and known them for 5 years, I can write the characters according to, I can hear their voices in my head even when I don't want to, especially Richard's laugh. But he won't even bring it up. Yeah. There you go. Was one little laugh in there. But you know, it's just such a wonderful process for all of us, and I think it comes out on the screen, and it is just because I think what we're valuing, as opposed to just saying, yes, we're going to get this done, and here's our production schedule, is we want it to be awesome, and we want it to be warm and about the characters, and have some human truths in it, some vulnerability, and I think it's a real credit both to their performances and what the animators do with it afterwards, and what Taylor does with it afterwards to say, to see that nuance come out. So do you want to?
Well, you guys, you know, this looked great on a big screen, and that's not by accident. I mean, you're not trying to create a movie, but there are cues you guys take from movies in the production process. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Taylor, you want to grab that? Or?
Cues we take from the production process. I mean, traditionally in video games, like Amy said, you have characters that are actors that are in a booth recording in isolation. They're not able to interact with each other. They're not able to play in a scene with each other. And obviously, what these guys, their background all is in is stage play. A lot of acting in a space. And so on our mocap stage, we have just our actors and just this amazing story, and they're able to literally be in this space, inhabit the space, and play with each other, and look each other in the eye, and every single take is different. Every time we do a scene, it's completely different because somebody will read a line or say a line one way, and then that triggers the next actor to say a line the other way, and you just don't get that magic, that energy, unless you do it that way. It's absolutely impossible to reproduce, and so that's like the key sort of operating principle that we work with, and the characters are well written. These actors have really become the characters that Amy has written. I mean, we've all sort of collaborated and made these characters. We all know these characters like they're real people, and they're able to just get in there and really be in the space and be in the moment. And I think that's what you see up on the screen.
And I mean, from a filmic standpoint, one thing that we're always striving for, if I can delve into some marketing speak for a second, we're always trying to do what we call the active cinematic experience. We want to make people feel like they are playing a movie. And a lot of it does come from the fact that we shoot this in many ways just like a movie, or a movie shot on a motion capture stage. And a lot of it comes from the way that we do the camera work in the game. We are informed by a lot of filmmakers who have gone before us, and we attempt to emulate them and also provide the player with, if not total control all the time, then at least the feeling of control when they're playing it. And I mean, I think the end result is that one of the things that makes our game stand out from a lot of others is we've heard dozens, if not hundreds of people tell us, I loved playing your game, and my wife, husband, girlfriend, partner, friends, dog loved watching me play it. And so much of it, I think, has to do with the fact that we are making a game that's not only about running around ancient societies and blowing things up, but also human characters with actual personalities and relationships. And so much of that just comes from the way that all of us have worked together over the years.
Well, you guys have a video of what this looked like when it was really being filmed, right? Is there anything else we want to say before we show that?
No, I think we just show it, and I mean, poor actors haven't seen this either. Sorry, guys.
We don't look good in these.
No.
If any of you are wearing glasses, this will look a lot better without them.
Should
And I
we,
believe I was retaining water.
actually, before we roll, Taylor, did you want to?
That's fine.
Okay.
Let's just watch it.
Roll and talk about
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Told you.
Just tell me what you're really looking for.
This? Come here. Sully, check this out.
Awesome. What do you got?
Looks like we stumbled right into our secret entrance.
Oh, wait, that's that girl. Not going down there without some hardware.
Go talk to that rug merchant we just passed.
Guns, weapons.
He's not really a rug merchant.
Right.
Hey, just watch yourself out there, okay? What is all this crap
Why
you're
don't
giving
you
me
just
inside?
leave me? Those guys are not here for historical research, and neither are you. This is about that Marlowe woman, isn't it?
Yes, but... Look. I finally got it. And it's just... this is what is here.
To a hole in the ground.
Oh, it's a glamorous life, what can I say? Come on, admit it. You love all this as much as I do.
No. No, not anymore.
Really? Okay, well, why don't you just walk away?
Me? Oh, me? Walk away? That's me.
Shotguns?
Why not?
Just give me a hand with this.
What?
Well.
Scare you.
What?
Because it's a well. Drag exertion.
Mark.
Great. All right, just give me a hand with this.
I have never seen
No.
that.
I feel like someone just walked in the bathroom on me. And then,
Now I know why you didn't show that
Yeah.
to us first.
We need to get paid a lot.
Looks like you have some Blu-ray extras there for the release.
That'll be an unlockable on the disc, I think.
You know what? We should explain what that is at the end. No, really should. That's not Drake and a bowel movement. That's
Or maybe it is. No
it
spoilers.
was Sully and a bowel movement. Sometimes we'll just capture audio, and that's just us doing those efforts for Taylor's purposes, usually, who's working on the audio.
Yeah, if we're doing something that's really noisy, if they're running up a flight of stairs, or if they're interacting with a lot of noisy props, or they're, punching each other and everyone's sounds are on top of each other, we like to get them on isolation. So we'll go, hold on. Now, Nolan, exertion, please.
It's like three. Oh, that's awesome.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
That is awesome.
Now you guys talked a little earlier about the benefits of having actors together in real space, but the actors haven't really had a chance to talk about that. What's it like filming that scene? How do you prepare for it? And how does it kind of compare to other work you've done?
Want me to go?
Yeah.
The best way that I describe it is, if you remember, everybody, when you were a kid. How old are you? 13. You remember when you were 13? Just drift back with me for a moment. If you look at when kids go out and play, I can give you all kinds of actor speak and like, oh, it's a moment and you just find the focus, it's imagination. You're a kid. I mean, you saw us up there. I mean, we laugh more than you can imagine. And if you think about, like when I have two boys and when they go out and play in like a clubhouse, some days it's a pirate ship. Some days it's a military fort. I don't know. And you never go out there and say, "You guys hungry? Oh, you broke my focus." You know, it's not. It's imagination, and it's in its purest form. It's good acting is playing, and I would love to give you all kinds of technical speak, but it's just professional play time.
Well, I think too, I think Naughty Dog, I was tweeting about this earlier, Naughty Dog is it's such a great company to work with because they really have created this environment for us to feel safe to be stupid like that. You know, it also has been great because we've worked together now for, we were saying earlier, like five years now. And so when you build that trust with each other, continually coming back to a project and being familiar with the characters, and you're each so grateful just to be able to be in that room, in that studio with everyone, it creates for great moments. Because you see us, we have to be in these spandex ball suits, and Sully's walking around, Richard's walking around with a highlighter in his mouth, and we have to really care about this round piece of tape. And, you know, all of that, you have to just block everything else out and step into that imaginary world and know that when we throw something out there or when we come in the morning and we collaborate around the script that Amy's been, you know, working over and looking at structure, and then we're able to just sort of jump into that boat with her and kind of, you know, say lines or what about this and what about that. I mean, it really creates a wonderful, safe place to work, and not every place is like that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, we get, no, go ahead. We do, like they were both saying, we get to play a lot. And the original title of actors were players, and we are definitely players. We have a really good time doing this, and I mean, you know, we go out there in those silly suits and we look at each other in these silly suits, and if you don't crack up then, you're not going to. And then, you know, this really fabulous piece of incredible art. I've never seen anything like this. You see the way this thing, it's a piece of plastic. But it's not a piece of plastic in here. And you know, we have silly looking day-glow sticks that are shotguns. And, all that stuff, but we do. We just run around and have a good time, and we're given great scripts by Amy to play with, and we have a lot of leeway within the scripts to play with it, however it will work for us, and we know these characters very well. We've been doing them, like you said, for 5 years, and it's the best job I've ever had. I'll tell you, it's really great. It isn't work. It's a lot of fun. It's really a great job. I'm glad to have it. Of course, I'm an actor. I'm glad to have any job.
Well, what we saw was probably the final cut or close to the final cut, or maybe that's not even the right terminology. Do you guys want to talk a bit about what really goes into the production process of taking that and making it into the scene that we're going to see in the game? I mean, is there multiple takes just like on a movie set? And let's talk about that a little bit.
Do you want to go first? Go ahead. Okay. Well, it all starts obviously with Amy's script, and you know, she reads it with the actors at a table read, and there's revisions done. But in terms of the actual shoots, once it's all done, we all have different jobs there. I watch the physical performances and make sure everybody's, you know, looking at the blemish on the wall that's supposed to be the ancient tower, all these kinds of things. Taylor's listening to the audio performances, and what happens is afterwards we just go back and re-watch or re-listen to everything that we've taken, and we choose what we feel are the best performances. One of the reasons we don't use facial motion capture, just the body motion capture, is because it also gives us more flexibility. I can go and pick the best physical performance from any take that I want, and Taylor can pick the best audio performance from any take that he wants, and then we just combine it all together. And then once it's back, it's handed off to the animators, and then it's done like almost any other feature animated film or film. The difference being that we don't really do any storyboards beforehand because we work very improvisationally on set, and it also gives me flexibility once we get all the motion capture takes back, is we can put the cameras anywhere we want and create the performances any way that we want. One of the interesting things, hearing them talk about playing, there was a certain amount that when we first started working on Uncharted, that the actors really kind of had to trust us, because when we worked on Uncharted 1, we had nothing to show them to say, this is what it's going to look like when we're done. So there was, a lot of, we showed them concept art, we showed them work in progress things, but really, I don't think it was until near the very end of the production that you guys really saw what you were actually doing on the stage. So now that we've established this over the course of 3 games, there's a certain shorthand that we can all use, and there's a certain understanding of things like, in the first game, they were asking me about whether they were standing in the right place, and I just said, don't worry about it. If you're in the wrong place, I can just move you over here later. And they looked at me like it was crazy, and they just kept on going.
The check's cleared.
I think too it's really amazing being there and witnessing on the day. Just the difference in terms of there's a lot of similarities between being on a TV set or a film set as well as coming to work at the studios working on Uncharted. But one of the cool things I was noticing this last time we were working together, which for the first time I noticed it, Josh walks around with one of these really weird L-shaped brackets or whatever, and he walks around and he literally... The Schmoigen, apparently.
We've nicknamed it the Schmoigen.
Schmoigen. And he will run around and he'll be able to angle the computers to look at the different film angles of what he wants. And then so while you're acting, while we're in these crazy suits, we can look up on the wall at the screen and there's a 3D image of us walking around. If something's not, calibrated correctly, my wrist will be like this and I'm hobbling around the set. But I know that, they'll go in and recalibrate everything, and it's just really neat to be able to see on the day while you're moving around your body moving up on that screen and watching how they sort of set up all these shots. It's really interesting.
Now, is that something you did all along in making the games, or is that changed over the years?
It's new technology. I'm sure everybody in here has seen behind the scenes of Avatar and that sort of thing. It's a very similar thing. It's essentially virtual camera stuff, and it's something that we've been experimenting with a little bit recently. Most of the time, we've just been doing the cameras in our 3D software, but now we're, starting to play around with new stuff. Really, it's whatever helps us tell the story in the best way and allows us to, work and collaborate with the actors and the artists in the best way.
And also to work in a way that's expedient. And I think that's what keeps the energy up. And I think that's one of the differences between sometimes working on a TV series or especially a film where there's so much downtime and then you've got to just be on, As you can see, the sets are minimal. We drag boxes out on the stage and, throw together some PVC pipe and, throw a padded thing in your hand. We have a word for it that I can't share publicly, but you can imagine what it is.
Pool noodle.
Yes, the pool noodle. That's the nice word for it. And the thing is, we can just do takes like that, and so we can kind of adjust and sort of play with it and play with it and play with it and dial it in a way that's not we have to stop and say, well, now we got to reset, now the lights, and it's not like shot by shot as it would be, say, for film. It's much more like either stage or like live television or for like 3 or 4 camera television where you're acting the entire scene out. And so I think that there's an immediacy there. And then all that sort of what you would normally have as pre-production on a film set where you're thinking about, well, how am I going to light this and where's the camera going to be? We do that afterwards. Because all we have is the raw scene. As long as we don't do anything really stupid like break the, the line of action so that there's no way, and we do that all the time anyway. But anyway, that it's going to make it impossible for him to make his cameras without creating some sort of, I don't know, like making it confusing for the viewer.
Unless we're trying to do that deliberately.
Yeah, and so we can shoot a lot of scenes in a day, but what's nice is we have the luxury, and thank you to Sony, that we have our own stage now, and we can go there anytime we want, and take as long as we want, and so we'll take, sometimes to the point of delirium, we'll take, 8 or 9 takes of something, and then do a bunch of audio passes so we're covered, but it lets the actors play with the material in a way that maybe you don't get to do in other media.
And it doesn't stop there. I mean, when we get back to the office, I mean, Taylor can speak to this better. It's all,
Well, I mean, that's when the work really kind of starts. I mean, that's when we leave you guys at 5, although you've been running around and jumping off things and exerting, but then we go back and we pour over all the motion capture data, all the audio, all the video reference that we've shot, and then kind of assemble it into that thing that we showed you there, and then that was us just having a little fun at the end. But I think one of the things that as we've progressed, one of the things that we've started to learn, that one of the advances we've made is which bits of technology or which bits of complexity to ignore. On the first game, we wheeled a Jeep, an actual army Jeep, onto the stage, and that was the Jeep that Drake and Elena were riding in Uncharted Drake's Fortune. And the plane that they were in, that they parachuted out of, that was actually, we constructed this wooden skeleton of a plane, and so they would have all these touch points, and they'd do all this stuff. And now when we do a Jeep, it's like 2 chairs on boxes with other boxes on top of them, because we can just go so much faster, and they don't need a real Jeep to feel like you're in a Jeep. I mean, they're actors. I mean, that's what they do, I mean...
Not anymore, we don't.
I just saw a nice gentleman with a 15-minute sign.
What's that?
We're at 15 minutes if you want to open.
Oh, yeah, we should, yeah, okay. So if you have any questions, start lining up behind the microphone there. Don't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
All right.
We could yap forever.
We can go.
This part I talk about the previous Uncharted games with puzzle solving parts. Are we going to expect to see more of these, or is it more difficult puzzles throughout the game?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're trying to do is always keep the pace of the game moving along, because that's kind of what our inheritance is from the action-adventure genre, is you don't want to, like, stall, with somebody for 20, 30 minutes on a really complex puzzle. If we have something that stalls like that, or a difficulty spike, we iron it out so the game just keeps barreling along. On the other hand, though, we obviously feel like we could improve some of those things as well, and I think the focus testing so far has shown that people like the puzzles and the complexity of them in 3 more than even 1 and 2.
There's some really cool ones.
Yeah.
Some very, very different ones.
Thank you very much. Hi, my question is for Amy. I would say one of the most endearing video game relationships I've ever got to experience is that between Nathan and Elena. You guys seriously are the best. And I was wondering, in your Uncharted story Bible,
There is no such thing, but go ahead.
all of them, yes, it is what happened, what bonehead move did Nathan Drake do after the first game to wreck that relationship?
I can't believe it. I don't even want to talk about it.
Right before he needs to play, you see him pretty torn up about something, and I always wondered if it was that bonehead move he did that broke Elena's heart or caused him to be there.
That's what I was thinking when he was sitting there at the bar, yeah.
Oh, he's gonna like this game.
It was all my fault.
Tequila.
Not to get too schmancy about it, but I mean, part of what I think makes our stories interactive in a way, rather than making it completely passive entertainment, is I deliberately leave a lot of things to your imagination and leave things implicit, because I think it makes it a more active experience for you that you're kind of filling in the blanks. If you care, there's a lot of people that play the game and just don't give a damn, and they're just skip, right? Which is fine, right? I mean, it hurts our feelings, but it's fine.
I don't like
And so for them, you don't want to belabor exposition and story. You just want to keep it snappy. But what I try to do is leave those gaps to say exactly what you're asking, is what could have happened. And I think sometimes if you define everything, you kind of have killed the thing. You've killed the fact that this is a collaboration between us, right? From the storytellers to the person who's playing it. And I think that's why people love games like Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and Journey, is because there's a lot of implicit storytelling going on. Now, we can't do that because we're supposed to be pulp action adventure, but I do as much of it as I can. On the other hand, you're talking about a guy with a lot of problems. And so he's got some issues. He's got some issues for sure. And
And so does Nathan Drake.
Oh yeah. Yes. I am drawing from life here. I think it's a very relatable human thing, is sort of like how we succeed and fail at our human relationships. And I think this is a guy that's got some issues in his past, and I think that he's better at being a hero than he is at being a guy in regular life, is my interpretation of him, is that he's real good at playing that role. But then when it gets down to going to the grocery store and being around, he sort of screws up. And that's why you keep seeing people calling him on the fact that he tends to just sort of disappear at a certain point. I mean, Chloe calls him on it in the second game, she calls him on it in this game. When things get too real, he makes himself scarce. And, because he's wounded. He's inside.
But can you confirm that in the beginning of the second game, he's at that bar, broken-hearted over Elena?
That was what I was picturing when I wrote it, yeah.
Elena gave it us.
What? You don't know what happened.
I just want to say, this team up here, you guys are the best in the business right now.
Oh, well, thank you. We got about 150 people behind us.
Thank you.
I saw your video, and I like strong visuals. And this is the first game, and this is like a holy grail game. This is the first game I've ever found that had stunning visuals that anybody can immerse in. I'm away from, I got this game, Uncharted for Christmas last year, and bought Uncharted 2 in January. I haven't stopped playing it yet. I'm shocked to play it over and over. There's so many ways to play this game. I don't even know if we're beginning to know how many ways to play this game. You can play the whole game on sniper or
Yeah, we try to give it a lot of replayability.
It's amazing the weapons, the skills.
And number 3 is even more so.
That's great. And I have two quick questions. One is, the controls are great because they're consistent in the first game and the second game. I love Dead Space 2, but Dead Space. When I got to Dead Space 2, they changed the controls. So are you going to see the consistency with the control and ability?
Yeah, I mean, this should be pick up and play for anybody that's played the previous games, yeah.
Okay, and the other quick question was, all the actors here are really talented, all the artists are talented, all the developers are talented. And all due respect to the actors, she's all great. But are we going to see Chloe Fraser in Uncharted?
She's right behind you. Yes, she's in it.
Yeah.
She's in it. She's featured.
So part of the realism of your name that makes it so believable is how the characters actually look. And I was actually wondering if you cast the actors before you really created the characters, especially Emily. She looks like a slightly more beautiful Elena. So I was just wondering how you molded them to look a lot like them since they resemble them so much.
It's funny. It's a little bit of both. I think sometimes, we have a concept. I mean, there were concepts of the characters when you guys auditioned. You could see the concepts. I think that's one of the reasons you were drawn to it.
I remember looking at the paper of her and I was like, that's me. I'm that girl. I know her.
And so, I think it's just human nature to be influenced. When somebody walks in, it seems like they're embodying what you already had in your head, then that helps. But on the other hand, we brought in people of all different dialects and things like that. We had people with English accents, Australian. I mean, I was trying to get Claudia in to read for Elena initially. Actually, the reason her name is Elena, because the very first incarnation of her, she was actually Spanish. Did you know that?
No.
So, there. I think it was Elena Vargas.
Oh.
Anyway, that didn't work out.
That's right.
But what you have to do is be open to the fact that when you do find somebody and the chemistry's there and they walk in and they seem to be embodying the character, then you start letting your character become them, because you don't want to mash a square peg into a round hole, right? And that's one reason I like to write as I go, which is crazy, and it's a tight wire act, and it's one that I ask 100+ people to do with me, and thank you to Naughty Dog for putting up with me. But it's because I can learn who the actors are and therefore learn who the characters are as I go, and only just sort of work to an outline. But the story never ends up to be what I initially imagined it to be because of that.
When I saw the concept art, for me, I wanted to be that guy.
Too late.
So I've been interested in starting in game development for quite a while, and I was wondering what kind of advice all of you could give to people like me.
Run the other way.
Don't do it.
Do you like to sleep? No, give that up. I mean, the best advice is go to school, and try to get as broad an education as possible. The most important thing that you can bring to the table as a game developer, whatever discipline you work in, is communication skills. That's the thing that comes into play every single day, whether it's written, verbal, or drawing. Because even those of us who can't draw have to say, this is what I mean, right? And so, building those skills, and of course it all depends what discipline you want to go into, whether it's programming or art, and it's gotten very specialized, so there's a lot of room for people to come in from lots of different areas.
All right, and just kind of an add-on, do you think that you can just go straight into a gaming college or anything like that, or do you think that maybe right now I should get into game development or like 3D modeling and things like that?
Well, what's nice is there's a lot of ways for you to explore your talents and then show those talents to other people by using modding software, things like that, which didn't exist back in the Stone Ages when I started. And you have a lot of opportunity, if you're self-starting, to show people what your talents are. So I think if anybody walks in and says, well, I'd love to do this, and you're like, well, show me your portfolio, and you haven't got one, you're not showing your passion. So just get out there and just, grab the reins, that's all.
Yeah, but don't miss college. It's awesome.
No. Yes.
It's the best 4 years of your life.
You can't get that back, yeah.
You won't get that back.
So we've got a 5-minute sign, so try to make it as fast as you can so we can get to as many people as we can. Thanks.
I just want to thank you guys for all of you, for all the experiences, for one of the freshest, most original, most engaging experiences I've ever had in gaming. Amy, you rock.
Oh,
seriously.
thank you. You rock
You had
too.
me crying at the end of Uncharted 2. I'm not going to spoil it, but I was at full 10.
Oh.
I wasn't at 6, I was at 10.
You're gonna make
my
me cry.
question is for Nolan, Emily, and Richard. Have you guys ever, if it happens, or if it's happening, have you guys ever thought about casting yourselves in an Uncharted movie?
Yes.
I
think everybody in this room, everybody in this room should go home and contact
You guys have my
everybody
vote.
they know and say that.
You have my vote. You have all our votes. I mean, I know Emily. You have your own thing going on. Nolan rocks. Richard, your voice rocks. So,
The rest of the package is a little warm.
It definitely would be amazing. It would be awesome. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, after 5 years of doing this character and helping, along with Amy, create who he is and his persona, Nathan Drake, for all intents and purposes, is exactly who I am, personality-wise.
More upper body strength.
He's got a freakish upper body strength. I actually go to the rock climbing gym now, and it's hard. And it really is. I swear, I think Drake's legs are hollow. I don't know how he does that. So, it would be hard to watch somebody else do it, but, you know, that's out of our hands, so, you know.
You'll always be our Nathan.
Hi, love the games. My question is, Drake does a lot of puzzle stuff and archaeology, but he's kind of a badass through all the whole games. How do you get the inspiration for the actions? Because it's some of the best action scenes I've ever seen in game, movie, anything else.
Well, thank you. And the thing is I think that comes from our collaborative philosophy, because some of the coolest things, so for instance, the two things that we showed at E3 this year, our cargo plane demo and the capsizing ship, those are ideas that came out of the initial brainstorms we had with the team, and the guys that presented those ideas as wanting to put that in the game are the ones that own those levels and own them to today. And so it's very cool that all these months and years later, their work is getting out there. So the ideas come from the team.
You know, and if I can add something to that, you're not alone in that opinion. I recently got an opportunity to meet J.J. Abrams, who said, who looked at me and he said, opening of Uncharted 2, the best opening of anything I've ever seen, film, television, anything.
I agree.
He said that. It was so cool. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Hi, I'll make this really, really quick because I've never done this before, but this is for Nolan. My friend and I, we have kind of a stupid running gag of you're kind of haunting us through our games because your voice is in every single freaking thing that we play. Like when I played Portal 2, it blew my mind to find out you were in that. But my question is there one game that you regret adding your voice to?
Oh, yeah. Oh. That I've done?
Well, yeah.
Oh, I can't say. I'll tell you what. The answer is yes.
Also, she would love you if you were to do the space line, because I promised her that if I got the chance to talk to you.
Space, yeah, I gotta go to space.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Space!
All right, unfortunately, this is our last question, so make it a good one.
I'll try. Hi guys, like I said, big fan. This is towards the actors, this question. With this whole mocap, you have to use your imagination for every single thing, like that we saw in the videos. So what were some of the most challenging scenes in the past games that you guys have in the past two that you made that were just the ones that were just the big walls that you kind of had to break through to keep going? What were some of those major challenges that you guys had? Anybody?
I'm lost.
They're all so good, they don't have any trouble.
We don't have any problems doing anything.
Oh, okay.
Difficulty in what way? You mean as an actor or as
just
physically?
trying,
There's been some
trying to
running in sand on a mocap stage when there's not really sand.
Yeah.
It's like, ow, my head hurts.
Yeah, stuff like that. You have to try and wrap your mind around,
I think for me, one of the challenging scenes was actually in the first Uncharted game, was when we were having to jump out of the airplane with the parachutes on and then do swimming, literally, floating like this. It's just strange. There's this point in your brain that you just have to march through, which is, I'm going to commit to this. I'm not going to feel stupid, and I'm just going to do it. Right. And I think that's always the challenge, but getting through that in the first game. And then with Amy, I'm always sitting down with her and saying, okay, remind me where we are in the story. Where are we in the art? Because everything, gets switched around and we shoot things out of order, and where is it going? And it's also organic. So that's always, to me, the challenge coming in. And then also keeping up with these two funny guys all the time. I mean, it's awesome.
I think the biggest challenge as an actor is to try to keep a straight face when we're doing some of this stuff. I mean, it's just, you would not believe the amount of fun that we have on the stage. And actually, to that end, I do want to make an announcement. We, especially to the people who didn't get to ask their questions, I have started a website, and I teamed up with Sony, and they've allowed me to do a behind-the-scenes book from my perspective of Uncharted 3, the making of it. I'm calling it Drake's Journal. And it's not going to be like a typical, if you're looking for how do you make mocap and do this stuff, not technically. It's more, I think, your high school yearbook, because the amount of stories from the office where these people put this game together, which I liken to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. You don't know how they make the chocolate, but you love to eat it. And the game doesn't focus on what we do as much as who we all are and the interaction. And I think, personally, that is what makes this game so special. So that obviously won't be released until November 1st, but it will be out there. So I hope you all pick it up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Well, you guys have been a great crowd. Thanks for coming. Let's give our panel one more hand. Thank you. Have a good rest of Comic-Con. Thanks for coming.